Okay, our second session starts now. And in this session, Associate Professor Asta Yegeliani, again from Vytautas Magnus University, will give you a lecture. And this lecture is titled Household Financial Management Decisions. So please welcome to the stage. The floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. It's so nice to see you. I hope it will be more like a discussion, not like a lecture, because I believe that my topic is, or at least should be, familiar to everyone. And I'm coming from the same university as my colleague, so I'm not going to repeat myself and talk about the university. I'm just going to concentrate on the things Jashi didn't mention. And as we are after lunch, I'll try to start with the food. And my colleague told you what you can study there, but also you will have to eat when you come. And one of our most unique, I could say, and most favorite dishes, especially in the warm season, is šaltibarščiai. Do you think it would be easy for you to pronounce it? Šaltibarščiai. And also, as you can see, we have some specific alphabet, the same as you do, but not so many different letters like in Latin. Okay, so this soup is very similar to your ayran. Just we put beetroots and many vegetables in there and eat it with potatoes. Hot potatoes and cold soup is a very nice combination. What else you could find in our cuisine? It's also called cepelinai. It's easier to pronounce. What do we have there? It's a potato outside and meat inside, or some other additional things like potatoes or cheese or other things you can imagine you can put inside the potato. Instead of popcorns while watching movies and hanging out with friends, we eat breadsticks with garlic and cheese on it. And actually, foreigners love it in Lithuania. It's like black bread with a lot of oil, and it's crispy and nice. And also, we have quite a lot of cultural life in Kaunas. So if you decide to come, let's say, for an Erasmus, you can still feel that Kaunas used to be a capital of culture of Europe. In 2022, we have a lot of installations, a lot of art events, a lot of exhibitions. So there is quite a lot of cultural life still going on, and I think it will continue to be like that. Maybe some of you have been in Lithuania. No, none of you. So it would be nice to welcome you there. And now let's go to my topic. My topic is about household finance, which has a lot of little things inside. And I can say that this is a very interesting topic. Why? Because either you know anything about finance or not, you still have to make everyday financial decisions. Do you make financial decisions? What kind? What kind of financial decision have you made today? None? It's impossible. Yes, to buy coffee or not to buy coffee. Where to buy coffee, which coffee to buy, to pay in cash or in card. So we have quite a lot of, from very simple ones to rather complicated ones, decisions, and we have to make them. Either we like it or not, either we love finance or not, either we have knowledge or not. So what we are going to talk about these decisions, but also how to make them and what does it bring, how we can create financial wellness, and why me and why now, why I'm talking about it. Actually, I have quite a diverse experience with financial literacy because I started building interest in this topic from my own needs. For example, when I had children, I understood how costly they are, and I have to do something about it. I have to be more wise with my money. I started digging into this topic. But also, I'm cooperating with quite a lot of institutions, also the governmental ones. And recently, I participated in our Ministry of Finance working group, where we created the financial literacy education plan for the whole country, for the whole society, what the Lithuanian society lacks in financial knowledge, and how to build it, how to make them to improve. And also, I had, it's not very visible here, but with the employment service, you know, with the people who lost their jobs and have difficulties in finding this job, and they are in quite difficult financial situations. I also worked with such people and understood that these financial issues are even more important than I imagined, because due to mismanagement of my finances, I can come up with a very difficult situation for me, for my family, and especially for those who depend on me, may it be a child, my parent, or even a dog or a cat, okay, which has to eat something as well. So, let's talk with financial literacy. As a thing, I ask you to help me to follow the time, because when I start speaking about this topic, I can never stop, so you stop me, okay? So, what do we mean by financial literacy? What is this? If we look from a very scientific point of view, and here is from one research done of a systematic review and bibliographic analysis of financial literacy, we see that it's at least in scientific world, we have quite a lot of different terms, different objects connected with financial literacy, and they are all important. From pensions, retirement planning, numeracy, gender things, student things, debt, and all the other things. But in order to develop our financial literacy and to get deeper, we have to put all these terms into some system and understand them systematically. How to build them? Do I really need to know everything about finances in order to build my financial wellness or not? So, first of all, our financial literacy starts from knowledge. Because if we want to be financially literate, we have to know things. What does it mean? Let's say, what is the difference between simple and compound interest? What is inflation? What does it mean if it goes up or down? What does it mean to me? Or what is, let's say, P2P platform? What is risk diversification? I have to know such things, because otherwise I cannot apply them. So everything starts at first from knowing things, to know what is what. But, for example, if I decide that I want to increase my financial literacy, where to start? Should I read all the books? Should I start from very complex things, from some derivatives, or should I start from the simple things? From the personal perspective, it's quite difficult to decide. So if we look from our own households, I see it like two parts of the story. First, the financial literate person needs to know what financial markets has to offer them, what kind of products, how these products are different, how can I apply them. And from the other side of the story, we need to know some basic rules of financial decisions. And when we face a decision, first we check what environment offers us, or maybe puts the limits to us, and then how to make this decision, how to apply what is in the market. Because usually in the market there are quite a variety of products, but not necessarily all of them are suitable for us. And what is other thing very important in personal finance is the name personal. It already implicates that it's about me. And what suits, let's say, to my friend, let's say to my husband, my mother, my father, it doesn't mean that it will suit me. Every time is a different story. Every time I have to make this decision through my own perspective. So I know what market can offer me, and I have to know what are the basic rules of these financial decisions. Some of them you named, like consumption and saving, investment, financing, or risk management decisions. Of course, one are more simple than the others, but in all of them, the situation is the same. Now, when we look, for example, when I face students, because from this financial literacy, I gave one or even two courses in bachelor level, master level, because there are a lot of things to talk about. But quite often, I hear from students, especially not studying, those studying finance and economics, they come and say, teacher, I think I will never need this calculation, these formulas, or these some law things, because I will go to financial consultations and they will tell me. If I go to a bank, or a pension fund, or insurance company, they will tell me what to do. They will tell me what kind of product they can offer, and they will tell me which product to choose. And before answering these students, when I first met this question, I went to see to look what scientific research tells about it. And I was very astonished that as a very distinct research field, which analyzes financial consultations, which analyzes financial advice, and what kind of a relationship does it have with financial literacy of a person. And what question do these scientists raise in this research? They raise, are financial consultations and financial knowledge really as substitutes, complements, or doesn't have any relationships at all? Do you know what substitutes and complements are from economic lessons? Yes. So now, your teacher says, yes, yes, you have to know. So, what I would like for you to do, do you use Slido in your lectures? Yes, okay. So use this QR code. You go to Slido, and you answer, what do you think? And then I will tell you what the science says. Is it working? It's not working. What does it say? What does it say? It's not working? It's not an active link? What? You will. Is working? Huh? Yeah. Ah. We have time. Yes? Thanks. Okay, now we can see. You need to push one button. Or maybe you're doing scientific research of your own before pushing the button, no? Okay, we have 44, okay. Done? Okay, so we have 45 votes, and I tried this exercise quite a few times, and the result is always different. So, what do we see? That 63% of our auditorium this time thinks that financial knowledge and financial consultations are substitutes. 35% thinks that they are supplements, and 2% thinks that they are not even related. Okay. Okay, so the results show that students in Turkey also think that they are substitutes. But they are and you are partly right. Because if we go to scientific research and see what the results say, it says that up to some point, for example, if your financial literacy is really low, if you really do not know many things about finances, it is really some substitutes. It's better than to go and ask somebody else, and it will be better to have somebody else's knowledge, somebody else's advice, and make very simple decisions. But when we go to more complex financial decisions, what complex financial decisions could you name? For example, to plan for your retirement, okay? Or to build your insurance portfolio, or to take a mortgage. These are more complex financial decisions. Why they are more complex? Because they include many different stakeholders, they include longer time, and they include much more money. And the wrong decision is much more costly. So when we talk about more complex decisions, it is better than to learn yourself a little bit and make your own analysis, and then go to consultation to hear one or even better, couple of other financial advices, and then to make your own decision. So the auditorium is, both parts of the auditorium are right, but the circumstances when they are right are different. If your knowledge is basic, then the consultation might help you. Even you don't know anything, but in more complex decisions, only you know how you live, what your financial goals are, and how to make the decision, and then to apply the other person's advice to your own situation. You agree with me or no? Yes, one person at least agrees. So great. But is it enough to know things? No. Definitely not. You need to know how to apply them. For example, if I know that there is such a thing like investment portfolio diversification, I believe everybody knows what it is, yes? You know what portfolio diversification is, you know? Yeah. But how to really perform it in your real life, for example, how to buy some specific asset classes. For example, if I would like to have some art pieces in my collection, in my investment portfolio, do I really know where to go, how to buy it, how to store it, what to do with it? Then I need skills, not only knowledge, but to know how to do things. Or if we go to the simple things, for example, there are a lot of people in the world that have bank account, that have internet banking, but do not know how to use it, how to fully use it. So they know it, but they do not know how to use it, and it means they do not have skills. Or they know that they should have a financial goal, but they do not know how to really precisely formulate it. The second thing you need to think about, skills. If we look at the research, I looked at some research around Lithuania, in Lithuania and around it. And what does it say? For example, there was one research done in Sweden that it's not enough to know that you need to do some calculations in finances, but at least to be able to understand the calculations or to count yourself is very important. It's even maybe more important than to have a very wide financial knowledge. Also, in Lithuania, and also in all the other world, we pay taxes. Do you pay taxes here? Yes, okay. Do you know how that you have to file the income declaration to the taxation office? Okay, have you ever tried it, or do you know any other person who had to file the tax declaration? Some say yes, but to lower extent than the ones that they know that they have to pay taxes. So if you do not know how to pay taxes correctly, it means that if you won't do it, it will cost you. Okay, you can get a fine or some other legal punishment. Or you have some other people to help you, and it is costly. Did you have any courses in taxation? No. But okay, you know, when you have to pay taxes, you have to take some money from your pocket and give it to the government, yes? But there is some other hidden part of the money that it costs you. It's indirect taxation cost. When you do not know how to make the taxation yourself very fast, you do not have the skill, you have to pay to somebody else to do it, or you have to take very long time, which you could otherwise devote to some entrepreneurship activities or other your working activities, and it costs you indirectly just because you do not have the skill, the financial skill, how to file the tax declaration. And there was one research done in Lithuania that those who do not know how to electronically file the tax declaration in Lithuania have to wait in line for up to 8 hours in the taxation office for others to help them. What it means, 8 hours? The whole working day. Can we calculate how much does it cost me in opportunity cost? Yes, we can. So it means that lack of skills also is costly. And except of those, how to use the financial products, we need to have other skills in finance. One is mathematical literacy, of course. Do you like mathematics? Of course. Nice, nice to hear, because a lot. What? Ah, okay. So teacher, close your ears. Okay, because when I especially go to teach into other faculties, not for finances and economics, after the first lecture, there is a line of students, and they come and say, will there be a lot of calculations in your course? I say, yes, you have to know to add up things, to calculate the percentage. Of course, finances are numbers, after all, and we have to know at least some calculations, or at least to understand them. Then, in today's world, we need one very other skill, is digital literacy. You have a question? No? Just stretching, okay. So, digital literacy, because more and more and more and more of finances move to the digital world. Do you think that your digital literacy is high? Who thinks that digital literacy is high? You know how to use technologies and... Yes, of course. Okay. You know what happens with those people who know that especially with those people who know that they are so good in technologies, there is such a thing that overconfidence. Have you ever heard of that? Because when you are overconfident, then for others it's very easy to trick you, you know. So, for example, in Lithuania we have a very huge campaign from central bank about the financial fraud, especially to the household level, because a lot of people, and those with very high education levels, they become victims of these financial frauds. Especially young people, when they want to invest and earn a lot very fast with not such a big amount of money, and usually they become victims of financial fraud, and that's where digital literacy comes into force. So, is it enough to know and to know how to do it? Or no? Do we need some extra things? You think yes? Of course, because I'm asking, then there should be something more. For example, if I want to be healthy, what should I do? If I want to go to do sports, what else? Eat less, sleep more, drink water, Eat healthy food. Do not stress. Okay. You know, you see a lot of things. Okay. Do you think I would be capable of doing that? Maybe. I could, okay. Do you think I'm doing it? Okay. Is there anybody in this room who knows how to be healthy? Knows, and you do all the things? Oh my God, respect. Really. Respect, but there's only one. Okay. It's the same with finances, actually. There are more. Okay. It's the same with finances. You know what to do. You know how to do it. And the third important thing is to make it as your habit. Yes? Because what you do every day in small steps, in small decisions, it's what counts. When I talk to students, usually they say, no, I earn too little. Or I'm dependable on my parents, I'm dependable on scholarship, on governmental, some support. And when I will become independent, then I will start dealing with my financial decisions. But it's a very wrong attitude because it's the habits what we are talking about. Even small children with very small daily allowances, they can already, how to say, develop their habits, their financial habits, and start making good things. So it's very important not to know that I have to formulate goals, but to formulate them, to keep them, to revise them, and to keep doing that over and over again. Have you ever heard, I know I see that there are also international students, or read in the paper about people who won lotteries? Have you ever read or heard that somebody won a big prize in a lottery? Yes, yes. Have you ever heard that big percent of these people who won big amounts of money in lotteries finally end up in a very bad situation? In financial and emotional one. Yes. Why do you think is that? Addiction. Yes, one is addiction. They don't know how to use their finances. But yes, addiction and many things are connected, but one of the major ones is that they do not have these habits. They can maybe read a book, what to do with my big amount of money, that's what I should do, but they do not have skills, they do not have habits, and it means that it's very difficult for them to succeed. So it is very good, even with very small amounts of money, to start developing your good habits. Do you agree? Yes, okay. So when you will win $1 million, you will know what to do with it. This is what we already talked about. And one more. This is, usually I do not like to cite other people, but actually I experienced this as well with a lot of individual consultations with people, with students, that people underestimate what role the small everyday decisions have. They think, I will do something big. I will start investing when I will have maybe 10,000. But you can start with 100, or even with 10 euros. Now, this one we are not going to do here. Maybe later, who would like, or maybe you can just save the link. It's the link to, if you have never done this, is to test your financial behavior. It's some test that I sometimes offer for students to try, but maybe not today because it will take too much time. Maybe let's move on. Okay? Okay, thank you. So, but we, above all these aspects, we have one very big, as I say, gray area that most people even do not think about. It's our attitudes and values. Because what we know and what we do, it's our more rational things. We can think about, we can plan, but more difficult ones are our attitudes and values that we have connected with finances and financial behaviors. And sometimes I ask students what kind of values and attitudes you have. They say, I have none. So they have big problems because they are not even aware what they think about money. Because we have, even though we do not think about them, we have attitudes about all the financial things. Is it, you have a question? No? No. If we have, if it's a good thing to buy a more expensive cup of coffee, or maybe it's better, I don't know, is it good to have holidays, is it good to borrow, should I save, should I not save? We have attitudes towards many, many different things about finances that can come from my family, from, I know, from my friends, and we even do not realize. We think that it is as it is, but sometimes we have to think that we can change our attitudes. So, let's say pension planning, especially when it comes to students, but not necessarily even to students. They say, oh, this pension is too far, or oh, I will die even before that, or they will change everything, it's not worth even considering it. And what was very interesting, recently we did a research with entrepreneurs of different ages, and for example, if you are a self-entrepreneur, you do it as some economic activity as a physical person. The pension planning, retirement planning is one of the biggest issues because they think that the business will solve everything. Their children financial issues, their own financial issues, their pension and all the other things. And usually they have big problems with retirement. And when we ask them, do you even think about retirement planning? Have you ever thought of maybe employing some means, some financial products? Most of them say, no, I have never thought about it, or it's too early. Even those who are nearly their 40s, they think it's too early. But when we talk about pensions, we need a lot of money, huge amounts of money, in order to feel secure when we retire. So 10 years' time is too short for these decisions. Okay, but let's move to more interesting thing. Before, I also want to share some research results with you. Do you think it's better to be optimistic or pessimistic in financial planning? Optimistic. Optimistic. Other options? Nobody thinks it's good to be pessimist? You think is pessimist? Okay. Teachers more think that you should be pessimistic. Students think that you should be more optimistic. What does the research say? It actually was done in Scandinavia, but it's just one of the examples. Actually, it's better to be pessimistic, a little bit more pessimistic in finances than optimistic in personal finances. Why? Because when you are too optimistic, the research shows that it is less likely that you will achieve your goals. Why? Because pessimism, financial pessimism, encourages you to save and to... Yes, definitely. It was in 2016 and in Sweden. Of course, sometimes saving is not a good option. Yes, I could say encourage you to use more situation-related financial decision. Okay, sometimes it's even better to borrow. Yes, allows a more rational assessment of the current situation and less trust in financial advertising. So, what other research shows? That it is not even, everything is, you know that there are some people who are very bad in mathematics. You know, all of you love mathematics and are good in that, but do you know anybody who's very bad in mathematics? Okay, there are some people, and it is like due to their, I know, abilities they have and attitudes and other things. And what research says that sometimes, even if you do not know how to count, if you love mathematics or if you do not hate mathematics, it's good. Why? Because if you go, have you ever taken a loan? So if you go to some institutions, they provide you a list of numbers. Yes, they provide you a list of numbers. They say, This is you are going to pay, this is your interest rate, and it's huge, I know, sheets and sheets of numbers. And if you hate mathematics and numbers and numericity, you look at it and you see some evil. You say, no, 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 they want to do something bad for me. But if you do not have such feelings and you look at numbers and you can understand them or at least trust them, so it is good for you. So even not the skill, but the attitude and the value is important. Okay, now, actually in my university, I mostly work with international students groups, and I love it because I can, how to say, feel different cultures, different countries. And one of the most interesting exercises, what we are going to do with you as well, is to see what kind of attitudes people have in some particular countries and families. For example, what of the most interesting ones from Lithuania and my students from other countries that they have? Let's say, money has no smell. There is such a saying. What does it mean? It means that if you do even the hard work, I know in some farm, it's the same money as I know in with some jewels. It's the same money, it has no smell. Also, we have a saying, don't brag or you lose everything. Lithuania, we say, if you will tell somebody that, I know, I had a raise in the salary or I won in a lottery, it's a misfortune. You will lose everything. It's better to keep quiet about financial things. Or money do not grow on trees. We have such a saying that you have to put some effort to get it. Or the greedy person pays double price. It means if you are greedy and you are saving too much, you might buy some not very good quality thing and you will buy it again. So it means you buy. If you are too greedy, you will pay twice for the same thing. Now, I hope it will work now. What I would like for you to do, now think a couple of minutes, what kind of saying about finances you have in your family. Some families have very specific sayings or beliefs, or in your country, in your neighborhood, and share it with us, and then we will see what kind of sayings we get. Does it work? Yes. Great. I will drink water that Renata produced. You have to change it, okay. You can choose the other section. But I will stop this one and I will, okay. Now it's okay? Now it's okay? Okay. Okay, 2 people still typing. Okay, and when you write, you see the others as well? Or no? Only yours? Okay. You saw the others? Okay. So, did you find something unusual? Okay, 2 more people typing. Okay, we have already 23 votes and 1 still typing. So I will choose a couple of them. Of course, as there are 23, it would be not enough time to discuss all of them. But I saw one, for example, that I have never heard before. And there is saying, penny wise, pound foolish. Does everybody knows the saying? Okay, penny wise, pound foolish. And there is also an explanation provided from a student that being careful with small expenses, but foolish with the big ones. It means that you are very careful with small money, but when it comes to big decisions, you suddenly become foolish. So, of course, it's connected with different importance and different size of the decisions. What else do we have here? Cut coat according to your size. What does this saying mean? Who said cut coat according to your size? What does it mean? Okay, what I began my lecture from, that personal finance is about person. Make your own decision according to yourself. Make your coat according to yourself. If I put my father's coat, definitely it won't fit me, okay? So I will definitely use the saying, I like it a lot. Okay, I have never heard. No pain, no gain. This is the same like we have that money doesn't grow on trees, and in different cultures we have the same meaning but with different wording. And there is one, money comes, money goes. It's totally different one, yes? That it's easy, it comes and goes. If it goes, it will come again. It's more like an easy saying. Another one is like the money doesn't grow on trees, you have to push hard, okay? And the people also, yes. Hide hay, its time will come. Such a saying. What does this mean? Save your money for the rainy days. When it comes, you will have something. Okay? So, thank you very much for saving these things. When I will come to my hotel, I will definitely read them all. And there is something in Turkish. Money is counted where it is. Okay? So you see, where does this saying come from? These saying come from a lot from the cultural, from the historic. For example, if country was in a very severe situation, one kind of sayings there will be. If the country already forgotten all the bad experiences, other sayings might come, especially with the family. And when we come to the family, there is a research done that if one generation was in a hardship situation, 3 generations ahead will feel that effect. Why? Because in our families, we give things to our children, all these beliefs and values. And sometimes, even in a very good economic situation, in the uprise of the economic cycle, some person is very saving, as you said, put hay in, hide the hay and the time will come, and saving and saving. And it maybe doesn't have so much rational explanation, but if we look at the history of the family, you can understand why you are behaving. For example, because some people, they have problems with saving. Yes, they cannot save. Other people have problems with spending, because there are quite a lot of situations when people have a lot of money, they can afford, but they are too savvy. They cannot allow themselves, or they feel very bad about spending. Or, for example, spending on some particular category makes them feel very bad. So all of this is about attitudes, and when time comes, and when you see, for example, that you want to make good financial decisions, you have a lot of knowledge, you have good skills, but still something doesn't moving, it's time to go deeper to your attitudes, values, and check what's underneath of all these decisions, and it might help. Now, do I still have time or no? How much time do I have? Okay. What do you think? Does it come only from your family and your close situation, all these sayings and beliefs? Or does something else can have? Okay, my questions are stupid, I know. They already tell you the answer. Yes. My question is, have you ever studied Hofstede, such a scientist, Hofstede, in any management or marketing subjects? Have you heard? Hofstede, such a scientist, Hofstede. Okay, I will have to make a little bit explanation. There is such a scientist, Hofstede. I believe that in your future studies you will, meet the scientist a lot. Why? Because it's quite influential and important research about cultural dimensions of countries. This scientist developed cultural dimensions according to which you can identify each culture, each country. And these dimensions are power distance, individuality, individualism, then masculinity or femininity of a country, uncertainty avoidance, long or short-term orientation, and indulgence or restraint. And they do quite an extensive research all over the world, and they have a map of countries according to these different traits of culture, of cultural dimensions, which are very closely related also to finances. I couldn't find so much research relating these cultural dimensions to finances. I'm planning of doing one, and maybe next year or in 5 years I will come to you and will share my results, but still. Here I took Lithuania and Turkey for comparison, according to these cultural dimensions, and we will see that initially in our cultures we have some beliefs and attitudes already encoded. Of course, let's say we take indulgence. What does it mean, indulgence? It means that we like luxury. On the other hand of the scale is restraint. That we like to keep in very, not to spend too much money on luxury, on, let's say, golden things, and on that is indulgence. It has a very close relation with finances. For example, either we use gold, diamonds, cashmere and silk, or we will use, I don't know, the same things over and over again from cotton, I don't know, whatever. Maybe it was not a very good example, but still we see that in this sense, our countries, our cultures are different. It's not that one is bad or the other is good, but still we see that it's encoded in our culture, and some of our financial decisions, how to say, are already determined in advance by the country that we live in, okay? So in Turkey, we have a higher percentage of indulgence than in Lithuania. We are more restrained, more like from Scandinavia, we have, or maybe from other cultures. Then a very important thing is time orientation. Do you think in finances it is better to orientate to short-term or to long-term? In finances, it's better to have short-term orientation or long-term orientation? Long-term? Short-term? Actually, we have to devote to both, because it's important what we do today, but it's also important to think about the future. But if it's not in a balance, it might think that we do everything only for today's things, but do not think about the future, or otherwise that we think only about the future that might never come and do not care about today. So this is the dimension of long-term orientation, and the percentage tells how long-term orientated the culture is. And in comparison of Lithuania and Turkey, we see that Lithuanians, astonishingly, according to the newest results, are more long-term oriented. Why astonishingly? Because, as you may know, we were in part of the Soviet Union for a very long time. And when we were in the Soviet Union, individual decisions were, how to say, not so very much available or powerful in the financial thing. And government, everybody thought that government will take care of us. There were no such like a pension funds or things like that, or the salaries were not so different between people. But now it's changing. And when I checked the latest data, that we are more and more and more as a country orienting to the longer term. Another very important thing is uncertainty avoidance. What is uncertainty? Okay. Uncertainty means how we are feeling okay in situation that is not very stable. And it is very connected with investment. For example, if I'm with very high uncertainty avoidance, that I know I buy a stock of some company, I cannot sleep at night. I go and check and check and check how the price changes, and if it goes a little bit down, my heart starts going faster and faster. It means that I'm not good with the risk. And it's not good or bad, but it is as it is. I have to know myself and choose the investment decisions accordingly. If to look at that, Turkey is more uncertainty avoidant country than Lithuania. And if we would look at other dimensions, if you would be interested into digging deeper into this object and maybe to do your own comparisons with other countries, here is the link, is Hofstede Insights, and you can compare countries, periods, and things like that, and read more about these dimensions, which, for me at least, are very interesting. What is also interesting, that different financial literacy educational programs, they take this values and attitude side more and more into account. Because earlier, these finance teachings were very, how to say, dry, about numbers, about formulas, but now more and more and more, they are looking into such a psychological part. And for example, if we look at the elements of financial literacy programs of the household, they are very similar. You have to formulate a goal, then you have to analyze your own financial situation, then to do some planning, then to execute the plan, and things like that. And the structure is pretty much the same. But what they add the mindfulness strategies into each step. Do you know what mindfulness is? Mindfulness, it means when you think about the subject from the psychological aspect, what is right now? To be, how to say, to analyze from the psychological point and this point. When, for example, when they think, be mindful while eating, so from the very first point, while ordering food and eating it and putting it to your mouth, swallowing it, you have to be mindful and think of what you are doing. So these strategies, for example, if they say, make financial goal, and you make financial goal, for example, according to financial consultants, that they tell you that you have to have a reserve fund or rainy day fund, or some financial reserve for the future, and you say, okay, I will do it. But what is not less important is to know your intentions, why you are doing this, why it is important for you. For example, if I want to save because my brother or father or whatever told me, maybe it will not work so much unless I will tell myself very deep why I really need this. And whenever I want to fail in my savings, I need to go back to my intention, and then it might help me to come back and start saving again. Also, one of the research fields that also is of my interest is emotional financial intelligence. It's also not so very old one, it's one of the recent ones. But what it says that with financial decisions in my household, a lot of emotions are connected. Like shame, for example. Shame that my salary is very low in comparison with my friends, and I'm ashamed of telling this. Sometimes it can be ashamed in some environments to say that I'm earning more than everybody else. Maybe they will feel that, no, you are not worth it, so I'm maybe hiding that my salary is a little bit higher. I might be ashamed of my expenses. I might make my prices look for the things that I bought higher or lower, or envy, or fear, or jealousy. A lot of emotions are connected with household finance. That is why financial emotional intelligence is very necessary. It means to understand what kind of emotions I'm feeling and to know how to deal with them. It's impossible to avoid emotions, and it's not necessary to do that, but to know them and to know how to deal with them. Also, there are, oh no, I didn't put this slide in here. For example, do you have that particular friend or group of friends with whom you spend more than you planned? For example, if you go, I know that if I go out with this person, I will spend more than I usually do. Yes? At least some. Okay? Because other people also influence us. And if I know I have to take some means, maybe not to bring more money that I was planning to spend, or there are some other techniques that I can use, but first I have to know. Do you have such a saying, never go hungry to a shop? No? Because we have a saying that if you are hungry, never go to a grocery store. Why? Because when you are hungry, you go for a milk and you come back with a full bag of food. And this is where these emotional things come into, and not only emotional. Oh, I need this, I want that. Okay. And now that's it. Now, maybe I will add some other extra things later, but starting from the knowledge that people usually do, but I always suggest to think about the whole package of financial literacy, because I know even which of these are more important. I believe it depends on the situation of a single person. How much time do I still have? Couple of minutes? Okay. So I will skip it. I have two more things that I would like, a couple of minutes to one thing and a couple of minutes to the other thing, and then I will finish. There is also a very great misunderstanding when financial literacy becomes important. What do you think? When you start developing your financial literacy? At what age? 23? What about others? When do you think you start developing your financial literacy? I need 2 more answers. 10? Okay. After university? What others think? When you start developing your financial literacy? From the maturity? Oh my God, no. Because already from the age of 3, you start developing your financial literacy. And because, why? Because you start learning about finances, about money, about spending, about attitudes. Then it develops, and of course, more complex situations, but already after your maturity, all the bad or good job is done. So you have to be, when you will raise your own children, start early. But of course, it's very important not to talk about pension planning with the 3-year-old, but about the things that the person can understand. Now, again, I like is in the National Auditorium this question a lot. When did you get your first mobile phone? 2nd grade, and you was how old? 8. Okay, what about others? When did you get your first mobile phone? At school, about 9, 10, or earlier? Earlier. Okay, what about others? When did you get your first mobile phone? 5 years? Okay. How much? 12? Okay. 14? Okay. And you know what? A very nice tendency, not nice, I don't know it's nice, it's just a tendency, not nice, either not nice, but it's getting younger and younger people are getting mobile phone. For a child, a mobile phone is quite a fortune. He doesn't have any income, and it's quite expensive. If it breaks, you have to replace it. You have to pay for network. You have to pay bills. It's quite an asset. And we give asset to our children, but do not teach financial lessons. So they teach ourselves. I had one student a couple of months ago. He said, in my school, my parents changed 15 phones. What kind of, because he used to, I don't know, it was a wealthy family, I guess, and he used to lose it, or maybe, I don't know, drop it somewhere, forgot it. What kind of lesson did the parents give? Okay, how to treat your assets. Okay, we can analyze it deeper, we can maybe find good things, bad things. Again, daily allowances. Did your parents give you money while you were at school? Of course. Again, it's also a very powerful tool to teach children. How much you give them, how you discuss the child's spending, where you put this money. Is it a bank card or you give it in cash? So all these are very important lessons, and child already develops them. So just to recall back to your childhood and think, did you receive good financial lessons or not? And the last thing, discussions in the family about finances. For example, of course, I'm older than you, but in my family, when I was a child, money was not children's business. When all the monetary money matters were discussed, children should be out of the room. Is it in your situation? No? Or your parents discussed finances with you? For example, you knew how much they paid for the car, or how big are the bills. It's also part of the teaching, part of the understanding that you are building. And the last thing, I promise. Do you know such people that really have money, but are so unhappy? Or no? No. It might be different situations, but as a couple of people say yes or nodding their heads, there are, and it's quite often. Why? Because why we manage finance? We want to build our welfare, financial welfare. We want to be safe financially and live good because we mixed sometimes two things. There is objective financial health and subjective financial health. And also this financial literacy that we discussed, it develops in this concept as I presented you both. Because the objective ones is how much we earn, what do we owe, what is our investment, what kind of project do we have, but it's also very important, this subjective, how I feel. Because some person with 1 million will feel very good. Another person will feel, oh my God, what I'm going to do now, my value is dropping, my investment is not okay. So he will not be good with the same objective financial situation. So it means that you have to work with both equally if you want to be financially secure and happy at the same time. So, I will stop with this nice lady here. And I would like to thank you. I would like to wish you all the best with your finances, financial decisions, and I suggest you think a little bit more. When you do financial decisions, think, why am I doing this? Is it really good? And that will be the start, if you are not doing this. And also come to Kaunas, we will host you, and hope to try our local food and activities. Thank you. Ką? Nė vienos nuotraukos nepadarė? Tai kad jūs išjungė.
Thank you for this beautiful lecture. You know, most people tend to think that, you know, if they do not earn a lot of money, they do not need to, you know, manage their finances. But you showed us that, you know, this should be the opposite. So thank you for your time and for your effort.
Thank you.
So Arifenur Hocam will present you with a certificate as a symbol of our appreciation.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. No dabar.